Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. In today's video, we're going to be turning a walnut bowl. This is roughly a 10-inch diameter blank. The bowl itself is going to end up somewhere around 8.5 inches or so. There's a few bad cracks and some punky softwood on the outside of this that I want to clean up and get off the bowl, or at least as much of it as I can. So we're going to start off roughing this out. I'm using a Robert Sorby 1/2-inch bowl gouge with a fingernail grind on it. In this clip right here, we're spinning it roughly at about 400 or 500 RPM right now, if I remember right. And I do speed it up later once I get some of this bulk material off the side of it. So I'm just continuing to rough out this bowl and get the sweeping curve across the bottom here, removing all the sapwood still. This was part of a log that sat outside for a while, so all the sapwood on this is kind of punky, has some bug holes in it, and I want to try to remove as much of that as I can. Personally, I really like the sapwood on Walnut, so if it were a little bit more sound and stable, I would try to keep some of this. But this one was just too far gone. So I'm going to go back and continue to do cleaning passes on this and try to get it as smooth and clean as I possibly can straight off the gouge. And I will say having a good sharp gouge is absolutely crucial for stuff like this. You can save yourself so much time when it comes to sanding if you know how to sharpen well. Another thing I want to mention, doing a push cut like what I just did there is a great way to have a little bit better surface finish. For whatever reason, just the physics and how the cut works, that is the best way to get a really nice clean cut straight off the tool. And you can go back like I am now and do shear scraping as well. I'm not personally a big fan of shear scraping. If you don't know what you're doing, it's a great way to get a catch, but being able to practice and do a good push cut is really nice. If there's one cut that you should learn how to do very well, try to get a good push cut. And as you can see there, I tried to snap that little tenon that was sticking out right there off, and I didn't. I actually threw my bowl blank out of whack a little bit, and I do go back here very shortly and tighten it up and get it spinning true again. Alright, as you can see there, I was having a little bit of a debate back and forth with myself about whether or not I should keep the foot on the bottom of this bowl. I just wasn't feeling it, didn't like the way how it looked, so I went ahead and turned it off, getting the bottom flat, and now I'm taking my calipers and I'm getting ready to mark out the spot for my recessed tenon. Now, I do typically like to use a recessed tenon more than just a recess on these larger bowls. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this one's roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of about 8.5 inches, I think is where it finished out at. So the tenon is just a little bit stronger method. If you're hollowing it out and you get a catch with a recess, sometimes it can split recess out, and then you're just the SOL. There's no saving it unless you can remount it the other way, which you're just asking for trouble at that point. And I do like to go ahead and add in this nice little detail on the bottom. I put a nice little bead on it, and I think it just shows a little bit more character and that you actually care and put some more time into it. Alright, I did go ahead and sand this off camera. I didn't want to include that because I had to go in and fill some of those cracks you can see there with black CA glue, and it just took a little bit of extra time. You can see me sand it again later. And as you can see here, I'm using Mahoney's Walnut oil on this. I really like this finish. It's really easy, really quick and simple. And once I get it oiled up, I go back with some Hut Triple P, and that is a hard wax that you can buff in, melt into the wood fibers, and then go back and buff it off. And as you can see, I left the recess where my chuck is going to go completely dry. That way it can't slip, and I have the best chance of holding onto the bowl best as possible. It's looking really good. Alright. So now that we've got the outside of the bowl finished up, I'm going to flip it around in the chuck, take it off of that woodworm screw, and we're going to mount straight onto that recessed tenon that we put on the bottom. And once I get my tool rest set, I'm going to go over to my grinder, get a fresh sharpen on the gouge. And you don't have to go crazy with sharpening, but when it comes to wood turning, a dull tool is dangerous, and it makes your life just miserable. You can do so much with a sharp tool so quickly that it is just surprising to see. And right now I'm just going ahead hogging out some waste, and I'll stop the lathe here shortly and try to get a basic depth check so I can see how much further I need to advance in the bottom of the bowl, and I can also see the rim there still has some saw marks that I need to get rid of. So I'll drop the rim probably about another 1/8 to 1/4 inch and get into hollowing again. And you'll see here shortly that you can get some really nice, really long curly Q shavings when it comes to walnut. Any wood, to be honest, especially when you have sharp tools and you present the tool properly to the wood. So as you can see there, we were getting some really nice shavings, good sharp tools, presented at the proper angle and geometry, just make turning so much easier. It does take practice and a decent amount of skill, and as you saw or heard there as I got to the bottom of the bowl, there was some chatter and vibration in the lathe, and that was because I was taking too heavy of a cut. I did take the tool out of the cut and roughly half the material that I was taking off. It was getting close to 3/8 or 1/2 inch of material down in the bottom of the cut, so I backed it off to about 1/4 of an inch. And as you can see there, I basically just threw a whole Easter basket worth of shavings on the ground. So I just checked the depth again. We're sitting at roughly 1.5 inches. We still have plenty of material to take out of here. And what we're going to do is aim for about 1/4 to 3/8 wall thickness and bottom the entire way through the bowl. So I'm just making sure that I've got plenty of material in the spot that I need it, and that way I don't risk turning this bowl into a funnel. So now I am starting to get very close to my final depth and wall thickness that I want. I do have to do a little bit more right down here in that transition from the wall of the bowl to the bottom. I was using my calipers, and since this bowl is a little bit deep for those, uh, it's more or less by feel, by hand. And as you can see here, I transitioned over to my scraper. And I'm just trying to take really light passes with that. And of course, I did sharpen this right before I put it on the bowl. And it just gives you the best chance for success. So now that we've got this roughly the shape we want and the wall thickness we want, I'm going through and filling the cracks with CA glue. These do go the whole way through the bowl. I did not realize that the cracks on the outside of the bowl weren't fully sealed, so now that I put more in the crack and spun the lathe on, of course I have black CA glue going through the whole bowl, and now I've got to resand and refinish the outside as well. So to finish out my bowls, I typically do this method here, power sanding. With the lathe spinning and the drill spinning, you can just absolutely hog off some material. You can get through all of your coarser grits into your fine grits extremely fast, and this is very hard to mess up. I do go through 100, 150 grit, 220, 320, and I would normally hit 400 and stop at 400, but I'm all out of 400 grit paper, so I decided to go ahead and stop at 600 grit this time. And again, I'm using the same finish that I always do, Mahoney's Walnut Oil and Hut Triple P Wax that I'll put on now, and then go back and buff off again. And this makes a beautiful combo finish. It looks really nice, it gives it a satin sheen to it, and it does help protect the bowl a little bit. I don't know about y'all, but I think this bowl turned out absolutely beautiful. I think this is where we're going to start wrapping it up here. If y'all enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.